things are starting to move in the right direction, but it looks like we'll be in the hole at least a little while longer.
Hello and welcome to this edition of the State of Soy. I'm Aaron Putsey. We're coming to you from the FFA Enrichment Center, where we're hearing from Dr. Chad Hart. Dr. Hart is professor of economics at Iowa State University, and I know, Chad, what's there to talk about right now, right? There's just nothing going on in the soybean industry. Let's start with your take on China. Obviously, the world's biggest consumer of exported soy. What are you seeing in China?
Well, let's see. When we look at China, we saw a relationship that soured definitely early last year. We were seeing zero sales for several months in a row. A deal was struck. Sales are starting to be made now. In fact, we've seen those sales get up to officially over 9 million metric tons thus far. They're probably very close to, if not already at, that 12 million ton mark that was agreed to back in October.
And then of course we move into that phase of up to 25 million metric tons. What impact may it have on soybean prices depending on whether or not or how quickly they'll fulfill that pledge?
Well, that's the deal. As we look at that 25 million ton pledge, that puts them basically back to where they've usually been for the past several years. The challenge is here is that we'll likely produce a few more soybeans next year as well, which will offset the financial gains from gaining those sales. So that's really the rub here. Yes, we may see China buy more, but if we grow more, that continues to depress price.
So biofuels obviously is a big part of this. It's in play. There are some unanswered questions yet around some biofuels policy. What do you see on that front, and what impact could that have perhaps on soybean prices?
That could have a great big impact, because if we're looking at the uncertainty around China, well, you need to create certainty elsewhere in the marketplace. And definitely domestic use is where we want to do that. Biofuels is the easiest way. We've seen a proposal out of the Trump administration about for 2026, 2027, ratcheting up the level of biomass-based diesels, especially renewable diesel in this case. So yeah, we need to see that continue to grow, but we also need to see, are we going to put restrictions on what we're producing that renewable diesel out of? We've had an issue with used cooking oil in the past. How might we clear that up as we move forward?
Of course, the dominant producer of soybean is Brazil. What are you hearing, what are you seeing down there in terms of how their crop is coming along, and how big is it?
Oh, that's the deal. As we look at their crop right now, the expectations are they're looking at the biggest crop they've ever seen. They continue to grow in terms of that production, which means they're also searching for sales as well, and that's what has given China the opportunity to play their market off of ours.
We're coming up on planting season. It's going to be here quick. As you look to acres, soybeans, what are you thinking?
I think we're going to gain a few million. In this case, I'll tell you, USDA thinks that as well. Within their long-run projections, they have corn backing off a little bit and soybeans picking up that land. So we're probably talking about moving from the 81 million acres we planted last year to probably 85 as we're looking this year. So not quite as strong as, say, 3 or 4 years ago, but a good number that will produce possibly a record crop. Because if you put trendline yield with that 85 million acres, you're looking at about basically 4.5 billion bushels of soybeans, which would be the biggest crop we've ever had.
Are we seeing anything that may get in the way of having a timely planting season? I know we're still early out there, but I'm not seeing or hearing anything that there may be a super wet spring or a slow start.
Well, that's the deal. We're not seeing anything in that way. In fact, if anything, what we have seen is we've been running a little warmer than normal. Things have been relatively dry, especially as you look at the western part of the Corn Belt, and that usually means timely planting when it comes to spring.
Last question, Chad, what about price ranges? You know, I know we've been bouncing in the high 9s to mid 10s depending on basis. What do you see in there as maybe the end zones?
Well, right now I would say the futures market is comfortable in that, let's call it the 10 to 1050 range, based upon not only the trade we're seeing right now, but what they expect to develop over the course of the next year. The big key to that, though, will be, do we see China, if you will, follow through on that long-term agreement, but also the case of here of, okay, how do biofuels add on to this, and then how many acres come in? But I would say we're looking at pricing similar to what we've seen over the past year. Things are, though, starting to, let's call it, move in the right direction to pull us out of the hole, but it looks like we'll be in the hole at least a little while longer.
Well, as always, we really appreciate, Chad, your insights on these markets. I know you follow it very closely, and I just appreciate what you've done for farmers and for agriculture, and there are a lot of issues out there in play for the soybean farmer. Pays to monitor those. Do so. Go to iasoybeans.com. Iowa State University Extension, also a lot of good resources too. Reporting for this edition of the State of Soy, I'm Aaron Putsey.
Progress is a human invention. We look at our world and we imagine how to make it better. That's the power of human ingenuity. We can redefine what's possible. At Bayer, we're shaping the future of agriculture, like farms where all life grows together. It's not impossible, it's progress.